Yo, 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 what's going on? All right, so make sure you guys follow me on X at PharoahX33. This is my X account, and let's get straight into it. So, as everybody has been seeing, obviously, the Ripple case is officially over. 5 years of back and forth, lawsuits, all this BS, and it's officially over. So, now back to business we go. When Ripple was sued, XRP was all the way down here at 17 cents, literally right here. Let's look at the chart exactly. Ripple was sued right here around December 21st, 22nd. The market dropped down to 16, 17 cents. So this is when the lawsuit started, literally right within this range. And this is when the lawsuit ends right here, right before we are about to head into price discovery. So, I'm just go over some quick TA in this video, nothing too crazy, but this is just to show you guys how the market, these lawsuits, all these things are orchestrated. It's not, it's never gonna be, oh, let me wait till the lawsuit is over so that I can invest into XRP. Like if you played that game, you would have literally lost, completely lost. This is a how much of a percentage from this bottom? The market is up over 18x since the bottom of this dip after the lawsuit. So if you need to take action when it doesn't seem the best time to take action. Now that the lawsuit is over, yes, we do still have some upside, but the prices are way more expensive and it's just a different time in the market right now. So this is why shout out to all of those who've been buying XRP way before this lawsuit was officially over, which is more than likely somebody watching this video. And if it's somebody who's just getting into crypto, well, you could definitely learn from this. You could see that, these things are obviously, it's all a game at the end of the day. So you just gotta take action when, things don't seem to be the best time to take action. Sometimes that's the best time to take action. So, sometimes things don't seem such like the time doesn't seem so perfect, but that's usually a good sign. Now, when the time does seem like a perfect time to take action, that may be a time to where you need to be a bit hesitant. So, timing is everything in this game. Definitely, timing is very important. Now, let's just go over some quick TA over here. So, on my last YouTube video, we were roughly, over here was a little market update. I did mention how, we were heading into price discovery and now, that we were literally like around right here and then we got this lawsuit news on August 7th. And now we are slightly above this $3.32 range. So, it was obvious that this was the bottom over here, and that the market is still on its overall macro trend. So the market is trending to the upside. Yes, it's creating it created a low right here. It created a high. It created a higher low. It created a higher high. It created a higher low, and it's on its way to create a higher high. Somewhere between, I believe, $4 to $8 is a pretty good range. And then it's going to retrace again. If let's say if it hits $8, we're probably going to retrace towards, $5 to $6 to create that next higher low. And once you get into price discovery, price does get more aggressive. Things do get more, things start happening a lot quicker. But yeah, you just got to be patient to ride the wave out. This chart does still have some upside momentum to go. We're literally, if you take a look at the past, where the market is literally roughly like right here. It's not the same price action, definitely not the same price action. If anything, this price action does look similar to this one over here, but the market is never the same as it was in the past. Every moment in the market is unique. So this specific scenario over here is unique. It's playing out like this one, like we're basically right here, but it's looking like this one, which means, there is some interesting things that are going to happen as we head into price discovery. And we still have to wait and see how this plays out, so. We're at a very strong spot. If you take a look at assets like Bitcoin, for example, when price is near an all-time high, it doesn't necessarily mean that the market is topping out, just in case for those who think that the XRP is topping out. No, the market, when it's near an all-time high, it's heading into a higher price level to create new price levels above. You got to think of it like this. The demand for the asset is now way higher than it previously was, especially with the lawsuit ending right when XRP is near all-time high, right? So the fact that the demand of an asset is increasing, that means that, as the price continues to rise, the market is gonna start to build a new floors on the way to the upside, the same way it did over here. It created a higher floor compared to this floor over here. We created a floor right here. We pushed. We created a floor right here. We're gonna push. We're gonna create a new floor because the demand is higher and the supply is decreasing. It's a deflationary asset. It's the same exact thing that Bitcoin does over time. It's a deflationary asset. It continues to build a higher floor as it continues to rise. And then you mix all these things together with technical analysis, with fundamentals, all of it lines up into one piece. So XRP right now is headed into price discovery, and in the short term, this is headed towards a nice $4 to $8. We can likely hit maybe even slightly above. I would not be surprised at this point just because of, institutions basically have access now to purchase XRP. The floodgates are opened, and it's gonna get very interesting as we head into higher prices. I do not find it a coincidence that, I've been saying we're headed into price discovery, and then they end the lawsuit right when we're right below all-time high. These things, in my personal opinion, are orchestrated. Everything has a date, everything has a timeline, and we are headed into, levels that people have been waiting years for. So, bright times are definitely near and ahead. And yeah, the market's definitely heating up. We're at a great spot right now. Um, the government, the Trump and the government and the SEC, everybody's pro crypto right now. It's a great time to be excited, but you also need to remain, focused and remain, level-headed, because euphoria doesn't always isn't always a positive thing. But for now, we're not even in a euphoria moment. We are headed towards a euphoria moment. So you guys just got to be patient, and you got to just, play it by uh, day by day, week by week, month by month, and then things will start to make sense. So I don't ever like to get too far ahead of myself when it comes to targets or price levels or none of that, because that's how you know, you mess everything up. If you look way too ahead of yourself, you're not focused on what's going on right now, right? So you don't want to get off track. You want to stay focused on the present, on what's going on, and that's how you're able to adapt when things do happen, how you want them to happen. So for now, we're gonna focus on the next levels, which once again I mentioned it's anywhere between $4 to $8, or even a good little $5 to $10, which is what I mentioned on the last video. We're at the perfect time for these levels to come. This can still happen within this month. We can at least hit a good $4 to $5 within this month. And then maybe in September, we can hit between that $5 to $10 range. Remember, we're still in quarter three. So if we take a look at the quarterly time frame, this quarterly candle is looking strong, is looking great. We already swept the quarter one high. So the market is clearly bullish. We already went over this all-time high. The market is clearly bullish, and this quarterly candle still has a long way to go with a little over 1 month and 20, basically 1 month and 22 days left within this quarter, which is a lot of time. Days one day in crypto can sometimes give you weeks of price action. For those of you who've been here a while, you know how it could be. But yeah, we're definitely gearing up to head to these next levels. And then, we're gonna take it one step at a time. If you want to see, where I believe XRP it can possibly head this run, my link to my Patreon is in the bio. and I go over that in more depth. I could do it in this video, but it'll just be a lot because I go over a lot of different details. But yeah, for now, we're just gonna go over the next area where I believe price can head towards, which is between that $5 to $10 range. And then once we get there, expect a bit of turbulence. The market is gonna cool down, and then we can possibly head to higher targets. So that's all I got for this video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Shout out to all of you who have been very patient throughout these years and who believed in what they were investing in because, you deserve what's coming. I hope you guys have a great weekend and peace.